Yeah. So, on this cold Columbus Day, I'm going to explain to you why I chose to name my channel The Dial. I gave everyone a brief introduction into my life. So, really, what I want to do is try to revive the Transcendental Club. And probably most people won't really know what that is, but it was a club of the Transcendentalists. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, and it was actually established, the Transcendental Club was actually established September 12th, 1836. And they started a journal. I don't know if it was monthly or what, but they started a journal called The Dial in 1840, which they put poetry, philosophy, different things. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information I could tell. But the Transcendentalist movement was the first philosophical movement in America. And I've always been very into philosophy, so I think this is very significant. And so the Transcendentalists were really all about nature, personal freedom, skepticism of society and its institutions, organized religion, organized politics, parties, which I believe is very significant at this time in our history. So I just have a quote from there's a woman, Sophia Peabody Hawthorne, which she was related to the famous Hawthorns. And she has a quote that kind of sums up the Transcendentalist movement. It is pure single nature, alone in her power and loveliness, that touches, subdues, and exalts the soul. We do not remember the godlike here, but we think of God here. So that was, that kind of sums up the movement. And in the late 1840s, Emerson actually started to think that the movement was starting to die out, which was a very unfortunate, short-lived movement. And at the same time, there were things like the westward expansion of America, driving out the natives, actually eliminating the natives from their homeland. There was the Industrial Revolution that was hijacking everything. And yeah, it was a dark time. And that was actually, as we all know, that was right before the Civil War happened, which the Civil War just pretty much destroyed everything that was growing in this country. And what these people were actually establishing was a culture in our country. Until, like I said, it was hijacked by big industry, big business. You had the Rockefellers doing their stuff. We started the Transcontinental Railroad about that time. So yeah, there was a lot of bad stuff happening. You might beg to differ with me whether it was bad or not. But yeah, these people, these philosophers and poets disagreed with the stuff that was happening. And really, really in my first video where I was talking about what unites us as a nation, as America, I believe nature does. Nature unites us. There's no place on the planet like this. I mean, there might be, yeah, I'm sure there is comparable places, but the natural beauty in this country is phenomenal. And thank God we preserved large chunks of that land for nature. So, the Transcendentalists believe that people are at their best when they're truly self-reliant and independent. And there's a quote from Emerson: "In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There, I feel that nothing can befall me in life, no disgrace, no calamity, which nature cannot repair. Standing on the bare ground, all egotism vanishes." It's the death of ego when you're a part of nature. So yeah, my initial sarcastic comment that I wasn't serious about, that it seems like America is defined by Hollywood, football, professional sports, baseball, hot dogs, just garbage. I call it garbage. Where there's so much more in this country that can unite us. Even, I mean, I'm just rambling here, but I was, for half of my life, I was part of an intentional community called the 12 Tribes, which was religiously based, and they actually believe they're the only ones that truly believe in Jesus Christ. But where was my thinking? But I actually learned a lot in life through living with this group. I learned things about what happens when human beings live together and share all things in common. I guess most people would call that a cult. So yeah, I guess I lived in a cult for 20 years. But me and my family we left the group in 2016 and moved out to Colorado. So yeah, I learned a lot about religion, and I look at religion in general. I look at groups like this, and really Jesus Christ when he was on the earth, he wasn't trying to establish a formal religion. He was against religion. I think that's what people have to understand. He wasn't trying to create a business of religion. And I believe most religions are businesses. They're nothing more than businesses. They collect people's money, they get rich. You know, there's the Catholic Church, but there's really every church. Every church is a business, and they're trying to make money. That's just the reality of it. And yeah. I mean, I can even Buddha. Even Buddha wasn't about establishing Buddhism as a religion. He was against all these prophets, and spiritual figures were against established religions. And it kind of shocks me that more people don't realize this. So yeah, I think Jesus Christ was trying to establish something radically different. And yeah, the group I was part of believes that, Jesus was trying to get people to live together and share all things in common. But really, groups like that are just the same as established religions, if not worse. So anyways, that's my rant about religion. But I think, I just want to start this channel. I don't want to report the daily news in this channel. Every now and then I probably will talk about current events that are happening because they're happening. But I want to take the perspective of the transcendentalists. I want to step back. I want to see the big picture of what's going on. And step aside from all this garbage of Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, the craziness with just all these divisions, all these things that divide us as a people, and Antifa, all the protests. Yeah. And I really believe at this time in history that we're at, if you don't mind, we're kind of at a turning point in history right now with the new generation. I think a lot of things the boomer generation established is just, thank God, it's dying out. The big banks, all the power and greed and ever since 1947, all the shit that has happened in the world and in this country is hopefully dying out, and we're at the cusp of a new era in our history. So to sum it up, the dial, I'm hoping to revive what the transcendentalists had in their hearts. They formed a club. Margaret Fuller, some of the Hawthorns, the Alcott family, and they sat down. They had these informal dinners together, and they invited friends, and they talked about poetry, philosophy. They talked about the deep things in life that we forget, in just the bullshit of our day-to-day existence as human beings. Kind of what they did in revolutionary France before the revolution. They had dinners together. They invited their friends, and they talked about deep things that really mattered. I guess nowadays we have social media, and we have platforms like this. But as we can see, social media is quickly being hijacked, and it's going to be regulated eventually. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm going to post things whenever I think of something worthy to post. So yeah, that's my rant for the day. And until then, I'll see you again.